I have got some opinions on today's Michigan football report. Might rant, might rave. We are going to talk about some stuff. But I will also give some postscript and maybe like a part 2 this weekend on Instagram. It's at Michigan Football Report. Go follow us. Link is down in the comments and the description. Might have to make it private. You never know how deep I'm going to get with some of the inside scoops I've got on who's talking to the NCAA, what to expect in June, why Michigan suspended Sherrone Moore the 2 games and imposed any of these recruiting sanctions. We are going deep on HDS. That's Harbaugh derangement syndrome and more. Bryce Underwood rumors and more. All in the Michigan Football Report right now. HDS. Jack, you're going to see a commercial in kind of the western, central, northern part of Michigan and all the state of Ohio in 10 years that say, did you suffer from Harbaugh derangement syndrome, HDS, from 2015 to 2025 and beyond, because it is severely and mentally deranged fans of those 2 programs who are obsessed, more obsessed with Michigan and hoping and praying that something went wrong, right? It reminds me of the political scheme. It reminds me of one party going after one candidate, the other party going after the other candidate. It is despicable. It is sickening. It is disgusting. And not only is it affecting Ohio State and Michigan fans, I'm seeing Texas fans chirping with long threads about Michigan this, Michigan that, Harbaugh this, Sherrone Moore that, Clemson fans, Texas fans, and now I'm starting to see it trickle. They know we're coming in about 4 months, I guess it is. Oklahoma fans and others. I've seen a little USC. I've seen others. College football fans are just obsessed with Michigan, obsessed with Harbaugh, and they have HDS, Harbaugh derangement syndrome. I will talk more about that in a second. I did want to answer this question from Bill Griffin. We're going to do a mailbag on Sunday, but have a few questions from our mailbag call that we will talk about here on today's show. So Bill says, has this ongoing investigation significantly impacted recruiting? Significantly? I am not sure if you could say significantly, but this hasn't been the hot start to recruiting maybe Michigan would have expected, with the NIL dollars flowing from Jolin, Larry Ellison, and others, right? The $30, the $40 million package. Now, there are word out there from other news sources that Michigan has completely paused talking recruiting NIL dollars with any 2026 or 2027 prospects, including Brady Schmiegel, the quarterback that just committed top 100 from the state of California. And their speculation is why. The hammer's coming, says HDS infected Michigan State and Ohio State media members and recruiting nicks and fans of those programs. And others are saying, well, it's not because of that. It's that Michigan wants to get all their ducks in a row on the pending whatever legislation, Congress, yada, yada, when it says you've got to give $22 million or whatever the number is for a school like Michigan, up to $22 million of your actual athletic department budget directly to NIL, which would be a big boon for the football program. We're not sure. But if that is true, it is at least a little concerning and a little pausing. I would say not yet, because you did just get a top 100 player, a top, 6'5" quarterback in the country in Brady Schmiegel, and Michigan's got a bunch of big-time recruiting weekends coming up over the summer. But if they're taking a pause, if they're not recruiting at all for these 3-week period like we told you yesterday, there's a little bit of concern just to address that head on. But I do want to go back to Harbaugh derangement syndrome, because it is a serious and debilitating disease. You may be eligible for compensation, you Ohio State fans, you son of a bitch Michigan State fans, you filthy Clemson fans, one of the biggest cheatinest programs in college football history, going to point fingers at the University of Michigan and the integrity of a great man like Jim Harbaugh. Jack and my integrity, young Harbaugh himself, right? James Yoder, you're trying to say we're trying to cover up for a program? We are not, okay? This reminds me, Jack, I don't want to get political. It reminds me of the Republicans and Biden, the Democrats and the media and Trump. It's no matter what the story is, it is the truth, and they won't believe any facts to the contrary. The Ohio State fans, Michigan State fans, they will have you believe that Jim Harbaugh and Connor Stalions and Sherrone Moore and whoever else, right, were so smart and so tactical and ran an operation the likes of which, not even that we've seen in college football, have seen in sports. This would be the most diabolical and high intelligence and military focus. espionage in corporate history, right? Apple couldn't pull this off if they were trying to pull, spy on a small startup to get an advantage. They couldn't pull off the kind of scheme that Michigan is getting accused of. It is just like, oh, Trump is a Russian asset. Biden is got dementia and his wife's the secret president. I mean, it's Bill Clinton this and Barack Obama. It's been going on for years. George W. Bush is at the whim of the Saudis and he was part of 9/11. I've heard it all and it's coming back on Michigan. It's the same kind of stuff. If you're watching this show and you're a Michigan fan, take a step back. Don't get caught up in the haters and losers online. Because I will say this, Jack. It is not real life. Twitter's not real life. This story's not real life. If you walk out in the streets right now, walk out in the streets. If you're in the state of Michigan, maybe it's 10%. If you're in Texas, if you're in Indiana, wherever you are, ask somebody, what do you think about the latest in the Connor Stalions saga? Hey, what do you think about that Sherrone Moore story this week? Nobody has an idea. Even college football fans like, what? What's going on there? They don't care. It's the middle of May. This is completely off people's radar, and I am dead sick and tired of people I'm cool with. Okay, Buckeye Scoop. Okay, hi, Funky Buck. Okay, the guy who run the Twitter account. The Hammer. You're just making yourself look kind of foolish. Got a guy, Spiro. A lot of time on Harbaugh, Spiro. Our guy Dylan every day. All kinds of time. It feels like the only thing you think about is Jim Harbaugh. And I'll tell you this. I've got some family members. The only thing they think about is Donald Trump, and they claim to hate Trump. I don't know. All right? If all I was doing was tweeting about my ex-girlfriend, tweeting about her new boyfriend, something like that, I might say you might just be a little bit of in love with her still. Right, Jack? I don't know. You might love Harbaugh more than you hate Michigan, or even more than you love your own team. That's what I've got to say about Harbaugh derangement syndrome. Seek help. Seek professional help. Get your mind right. Focus on your team. For Ohio State, you claim to win a national championship, Mickey Mouse. Michigan State, you had a guy stroking his, in the office at 2 in the morning on the phone with the potential rape victim lady, and you're going to focus on Harbaugh and Connor Stalions and Sherrone Moore. You guys are bing bong. You're out of control. You're crazy and you're insane. I'll ask you guys this question. Will Michigan's recruiting class be affected by what we've got going on here? Will they finish with a top 10 class like they did in 2025? Just give me a simple yes or no down in the comments. Whew, Jack, there's a YouTube short in there somewhere. I know there's a YouTube short in there. That was out there. Maybe there's 2 YouTube shorts. I don't know. We'll see. So, yes or no, Michigan finished with the top 10 recruiting class in this 2026 recruiting cycle. Now, there are some crazy Bryce Underwood rumors. I keep having people screenshot me stuff from message boards. Had someone directly tweet at me yesterday. So we'll talk about Bryce Underwood rumors. Actually 2. We're going to talk about one first, and I've got a second one that I want to mention as well. But I do have to tell you guys about what happened to me last night. I was so damn tired because my wife's been out of town all week. I went, took home, put the kids to bed. I said, hey, I'm going to take a 30 or 45-minute nap, right? Then I'm going to wake up, watch the second half of the Warriors game. Never happened. Woke up at like 11:30, ended up being up till 2 a.m. Didn't want to cook. So what did I do? Boom, I had a Factor meal, the sponsor of the Michigan Football Report. I just tossed that bad boy in the microwave, and I had a nutritious meal within 2 minutes. Eating well has never been this easy. Just heat up and enjoy, giving you more time to do what you want. For me, that was sleeping at 8 o'clock on a Thursday night, waking up at midnight, and then needing some food. Don't want to go to the grocery store. I had Factor all hooked up. Get outside instead of prepping and cooking indoors. Factor meals arrive fresh and easy to eat. Perfect for any active lifestyles. 45 weekly menu options so you can pick from gourmet meals that fit your goals. Choose from Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more. Pick your pre-made meals. They are prepped, cooked to perfection. All you do, toss in the microwave, heat, and enjoy. I truly recommend Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/MichiganChat50off. That's factormeals.com/MichiganChat50off. Use code MichiganChat50off. It's down in the comments. It's down in the second paragraph of the description of today's video. Click that link. Use the code MichiganChat50off. Get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. I love Factor. Jack, I know you love Factor. You guys will love it as well. Get some Factor. Let us know how you guys love it. So here's the Bryce Underwood stuff. I got to take a sip of water because I went on that rant, Jack. Whew. This is one of 2 things that people have been trying to talk crazy about. And I happen to click on Twitter of the 5-minute Buckeye meeting or the Buckeye Morning 5 or something like that this morning because it was at the top of Twitter. And they were talking about Bryce Underwood. I'm like, what are these guys even talking about? And so here's what they're saying. There's two rumors out there. This one that Beef Stew Weber, and you don't want to look at that guy's Twitter profile. It's quite the description of who he is. So obviously I don't think he's a real guy, but saying that the rumors that Bryce Underwood and his mom seen on a plane to Baton Rouge, right? They're going to go look at LSU. They're going to ask out of their Michigan NIL. He was already on campus, went through spring brawl. And the other one is that Bryce Underwood and Michigan have not been able to come through on his NIL package that Michigan has offered him, right? The $3 million a year, the $4 million a year, the $12 million over 3 or 4 years, whatever the final number was, that Michigan's already behind on their payments. Well, I mean, if you believe the Harbaugh derangement syndrome, now they've got Bryce Underwood derangement syndrome. They've got buds. Bryce Underwood derangement syndrome. Look, I'm not going to say there's no chance either of these are feasible, but these are about as wild and kind of cherry-picked, insane rumors that you can only get in college football. Nowhere else in sports does this happen, right? Nowhere else in sports do you get, LeBron James was seen in Dallas, Texas at a 7-Eleven because he's signing with the Mavs in the middle of the playoffs. Like that doesn't happen in other sports. College football, the internet, the way it's been, how secretive it's been for years, people pick up these rumors and they believe it so much that, Ohio State podcasters will go and do an entire segment on whether Michigan can't get the NIL dollars because they're putting a pause on it because of the Connor Stalions and the Sherrone Moore suspension, NCAA sanctions looming come June 6th, June 7th, June 8th, and they're not paying Bryce Underwood the first installments they had. And as such, him and his mom are going to talk to LSU, see if they can get in the door and transfer there before this season. I think it's crazy. If you guys think it's crazy, you want to support the show, want to keep us rolling and stomping out these rumors, make sure you subscribe to the Michigan Football Report, youtube.com/Michigan TV. Shifting gears here. Let's ask a couple other questions on today's show. Aaron Asma says, why would Michigan bend the knee, suspend the coach without even hearing what the punishment is going to be? Can we fire the head of the athletic department, which of course would be Warde Manuel? So the question is then, why would Michigan preemptively suspend Sherrone Moore? Now, it hasn't been publicly disclosed by Michigan, but that seems to be the vibe from all the national guys who likely get their sources of scoop directly from the NCAA or someone within that realm. I don't necessarily think it's coming from Michigan or, someone from the Michigan blog boy beat might have got the first scoop in the history of their career that has any, relevance in the grand scheme of things. And I would say that the only reason it makes sense is they've had enough conversations that they know what the expectations are from the NCAA. They think they know what the NCAA is going to come and give them for whatever they find, for whatever their sources are, for whatever wrongdoing they think they can prove. And Michigan says, all right, well, if you want 4, precedent said, we've talked to ADs and coaches and people at other schools. They said, hey, they wanted 5, we gave them 3, and they accepted it. They wanted 6, we gave them 4. So maybe it's like they wanted 4, we're going to give them 2, plus these other 2 games where we're not going to have any home visitors during the 2025 season. Home games with no official, no unofficial visitors, the 2026, 2027 class. And on top of that, maybe Sherrone Moore is not going to go out and recruit on Friday nights, which is customary for assistant head coaches, going, especially in the general 2-3 hour area of Ann Arbor, especially on bye weeks, where you'll go and you'll watch a player on Friday night. You'll be there. Even if you don't even talk to him, you'll be present to know that, hey, your time is worth the time of the head coach. So maybe that's what it is. I hope that's what it is, because if not, then I feel like we've seen this before with the Jim Harbaugh and everything that happened there. The NCAA still came down even harder than most people expected, giving Jim Harbaugh like a multi-year show cause, eventually to others like Jesse Minter and what's his name, the secondary coach with the Chargers. You guys know who I'm talking about. How about Warde Manuel, though? He just signed a contract extension, right? He's with the school for another 4 or 5 years, so 2019, 2030. And he's got to be capable in just the management of this, because at all sides, his yes men, his talking people out there who whisper things in the media, they've been, it's a witch hunt. It's not real. Nothing's going to happen. Hammer's not coming. If something comes, and if he didn't get ahead of it enough, then I think his job potentially could be in peril if Michigan football is put in a situation where they have 3, 4, 5 years where they're trying to recover of any sanctions like a full season ban or, God forbid, anything like taking away past victories, which I think would be a real gut punch to Michigan football fans who love that 3 and really even 4-year run against Ohio State, but 3-year run of Big Ten championships. Knowing what we know now, knowing what we know from spring football, predict Michigan's 2025 regular season record. Just the 12 games on the schedule. I'm going to stick to 10-2, did I say recently now? 10-2 now. We'll maybe change that. See how guys develop. See what happens with the offensive line. See what happens with the wide receiver group. If there's any positive or negative buzz coming out of 7-on-7 drills, summer workouts into August. All right, Matthew coming in with the question. He says, why has Michigan recruiting been down so far? Well, if you saw yesterday's show, we told you that, was it yesterday? Yeah, I think yesterday or Wednesday. We told you that Michigan is in a 3-week recruiting pause as of now. And so it seems like that's got 1 week left after this one from what it sounds like. So that would make sense that they're not getting a ton of recruiting momentum. But there may be other factors that we don't even want to know about. Now, recruits are saying, oh, it doesn't matter. Michigan's got a great family atmosphere. We love Coach Moore. But no one's just going to come out and say, oh, I was going to go to Michigan, but I'm not anymore because of this uncertainty. So it could have some uncertainty. They did get a quarterback, right, a top 100 player, so it certainly hasn't completely died out. But in the past, the University of Michigan has always been much higher ranked at this point of the year in May than they are right now. Even a couple years ago, we were down in recruiting in the spring. Boom, and then Jaden Daniels commits, and then a flurry of commits come after that. Right around that time, Michigan went from meddling along to all of a sudden they're in the top 10, top 15 classes, and continued on from there. So number 12 class, only 5 commits so far, 1 4-star. Don't freak out yet. We told you there is some rumblings that Michigan may just be in a wait-and-see mode. Wait until kind of things die down in June. Wait till this NCAA stuff comes back. You got Brady Schmiegel and others for big recruiting weekends in June and July. Could they just pour the NIL dollars on then and maybe even pick off some of these players that committed elsewhere to have a flurry of a summer leading up to August 31st opening game? Let me ask you guys this question before we get ready to shake out of this studio for the weekend. Was Michigan's 2023 football team, was it the best Big Ten team ever? I want to kind of revitalize this because I keep seeing people comparing 2023 Michigan to 2024 Ohio State that lost to Michigan in 2024 and other programs. So let me know, was 2023 Michigan the best Big Ten football team of all time? Let me know down in the comments. If you say they weren't, let me know who you think would have beat them. And reminder, follow us on Instagram at Michigan Football Report. Might have to make it private. We're going to go deeper on what the expected sanctions and other things going on with the NCAA are in a video on that Twitter or Instagram account this weekend. I'll be back with a video on Sunday. Till then, go Blue.